It's a little bit, just trying to figure out where it is. Right.
At this time, I will call a special meeting of the Lot and Water Authority to order. Please call the roll.
Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill.
Yes.
Hampton. Uyghur. Williams.
Present.
Warren.
Okay, and just so everybody knows, we'll be doing the Water Authority and the Transit Trust before we get to the City Council meeting, okay? So item number 1 on new business for the Lot and Water Authority, consider and take action in approving a resolution of reimbursement to the 2019 Propel CIP Water and Wastewater half cent to utilize funds which will be reimbursed with a DWSRF loan ORF 24-008-DW scheduled to close in late June in the amount of $11,347,737. Rusty.
Yes, what we have is we have a project for MAP 11, which is we've opened bids, and that is the $11 million is the bid opening for that project. We have not yet closed the loan. It's scheduled to close toward here very soon, but because of getting this to award and the contractor is finishing up on a current project we have in town, we don't want him leaving town before and putting us off so we're wanting to go ahead and get this project awarded, and we have to do this resolution of reimbursement to allow us to go ahead and award that project at the council meeting later today.
Council, do you have questions or motion?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion. I made a motion to approve this.
And who seconded it? Okay, Ms. Williams seconded it. Discussion or debate? Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Chapman. Gill.
Yes.
Hampton.
Yes.
Uyghur. Warren. Williams.
Yes.
Hankins. Harris.
And the Lot and Water Authority stands adjourned. At this time, I will call the special meeting of the City Transit Trust to order. Please call the roll.
Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill.
Yes.
Hampton. Uyghur. Williams.
Present.
Warren.
New business item number 1, consider approving the memorandum of understanding between the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, the City of Lawton Transit Trust, and the Lawton Metropolitan Planning Organization for Transit Performance Measures. Christy.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. This is just an annual MOU for the Transit Trust and LATS. So, any
Okay,
questions?
Council, do you have questions or motion?
Mayor, I move that we approve this MOU.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval and a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. Bringing up item 2, consider approving the memorandum of understanding between the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, the City of Lawton Transit Trust, and the Lawton Metropolitan Planning Organization. Christy.
This is not an annual MOU, but it does need to be revised to include the Transit Trust as part of the agreement. ODOT has made a change in regulations, and so the Transit Trust now needs to be a party of the agreement. So that's why it's coming to you today.
Do you have questions, Council, or motion?
Mayor, Council, I move that we approve this MOU.
Is there a second? Do we have a second? Discussion or debate? Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Gill.
Yes.
Hampton. Uyghur. Williams.
Yes.
Hankins. Harris. Chapman.
Okay, and so that meeting stands adjourned. I now will call this regular meeting of the Lawton City Council to order. Please stand for the invocation by Pastor Corey Johnson of Lawton First Assembly and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Johnson. Thank you, Pastor Johnson. Please call the roll.
Hankins. Harris. Chapman. Gill.
Yes.
Hampton. Uyghur. Williams.
Present.
Warren.
Good afternoon, everyone. In addition to the True North Award, which I'm going to present a little bit later, we're also recognizing an employee today that is receiving the Employee Spotlight Award. And for those of you who don't know, the Employee Spotlight Award is voted on by other coworkers and other fellow employees. So it's not a management decision who gets this. So it's quite an honor to be recognized among your fellow employees. So Christy McLaughlin, will you come down, please? Christy is an employee in our wastewater treatment facility, and she started as an administrative assistant, and now she's a scheduler, and she's been there for approximately 2 years. And she was really instrumental last year when their building received hail damage. She was among the first people there helping to move the office to a different location where it ended up operating 5 months. So certainly a testament to her hard work and dedication. And Christy is always staying on top of everyone in the office to make sure that they're going to their scheduled training and making sure that they're doing what they need to do to remain in compliance with DEQ training standards. So we really appreciate Christy's dedication to her position and to her fellow employees. So let's please give her a round of applause. Good. Thank you, Christy. Okay, now we're on to the True North Award. Goodness. And Sergeant Mark Hacksworth, will you come on down, please? And so on Mother's Day, May 12th, Sergeant Hackworth was driving around doing his typical patrolling around the city of Lawton, keeping our streets and neighborhoods safe, and he came across a lady who had a flat tire. So he got out, he changed the tire, and she ended up going on her way. And I think, honestly, we have police officers doing this sort of thing all the time. It happens routinely, and I think it's really awesome when our officers stop doing their job to help our citizens. But what made this occasion a little bit more unique is that on this day, the lady that Sergeant Hackworth helped was here. She was visiting family. They were sick. And so it was especially uplifting to her and her family. And you just never know when an act of kindness, certainly it benefits the individual that receives the act and the person that is doing the act. But it makes our community a little bit more compassionate and a better place to be. So Sergeant Hackworth, we appreciate you doing that. So in accordance with the True North statement, the very first one is everything that we do is for our citizens. So certainly your act encapsulated that, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. And thank you, officer. We're proud of you. Appreciate that. Good True North. I'm going to jump out of order just a little bit here. And while we're doing some employee stuff, let's go ahead and are we ready to do the video? Okay, let's go ahead. While we're doing employees, I've got a presentation for a young lady, but I'm going to do that in just a minute. And so let's go ahead and do the Community Services Department video. Why don't we work on it and show it in 2 weeks? Do you want me to go ahead and tell everybody what the gist of it is? I'm going to do that because we need to highlight why this is so important. This department was given a goal, I don't even remember when it was, it seems like it was about a year ago, was given a goal of getting building permits out in 30 days. And 1,500 building permits, they've only had 6 they haven't gotten out in 30 days. Is that right? 6 out of 1,500. Now, what's significant about that? That beats Norman, which was our measuring stick. And so I want to get that whole department, everybody that's here, I would like to get them right up here in front because we're going to make a spectacle out of you. And we're sorry that, let's give them a round of applause. And we're sorry that the video didn't work, but that means we get to make a spectacle out of you again the next week. And I'd like to ask you to bring the rest of your employees, if we could do that, John. And because we like making spectacles out of people, okay? So thank you guys. One more round of applause. Okay, now before I get to the young lady, I'm going to do the proclamation on the stormwater. Who's going to receive that? Who's going to receive stormwater?
Is this a new?
All right.
June 11, 24.
All right, Cam, let's give Cam a round of applause.
This says Tuesday.
Thank you. All right, Cam, so you work in the stormwater maintenance division? What do you do there?
I'm the construction inspector.
All right. Okay, so this is a flood awareness month. So whereas year after year, many Oklahoma citizens are victims of flood damage, yet have no flood insurance protection. Congress created the National Flood Insurance Program in 1968 to mitigate future flood damage and provide citizens with protection against potential losses. Whereas the Stormwater Management Division has been designated to coordinate the National Flood Insurance Program in Lawton, Oklahoma, and the National Flood Insurance Program assists Lawtonians by making flood insurance available at affordable rates and helping the city of Lawton in making wise decisions regarding floodplain management and use. Whereas Lawton has qualified for the sale of flood insurance, a policy may be purchased from any licensed property insurance agent or broker in good standing. And whereas there is a need to inform Lawtonians of the availability of affordable flood insurance, floodplain management techniques, and flood safety procedures. And a lot of people don't understand our rules revolving floods and stormwater have everything to do with you being able to buy flood insurance through that national program, which is only available through that program. So there I do hereby proclaim the month of June 2024 in Lawton Fort Sill as Flood Awareness Month. Let's give this young man a round of applause for your getting out. Okay. Go protect us from floods, okay, Cam? All right, give him one more round of applause. Okay, now we're going to welcome up here a young lady. She's the Comanche Indian Veteran Association Princess, Clara Yazzie. Clara, come on up here. Let's give her some welcome music. All right. Now, I've got to tell the story. We're going to give her a mayoral citation today because this young lady, I know I'm not supposed to ask women how old they are, but do you mind?
I'm 13 years old.
14? 13, okay. Don't make a woman older than she is, right? Okay. So I go to the Fort Sill National Cemetery on Memorial Day and I'm handing out pins like this, except they have to do with the poppies. Raise your hand if you used to wear paper poppies when you were a kid. Okay, several. And they were sold by the American Legion Auxiliary for a fundraiser. And I get so frustrated that I don't see this because every year we wore our paper poppies. And it was to remember what happened in World War I at Flanders Field, where over 1 million people died over a 4-year period. And so then I go to Fort Sill and I'm handing out the little pins, and I'm a little frustrated because a lot of people don't know the history, and I think they ought to. And I don't like that tradition is dying in America. And I get to Sunset Memorial Gardens, my last stop for the day, and I'm handing out my metal pins, and here's this young lady with poppies all over her outfit, and she handmade poppies and was giving them away. And she knew the whole story. And just so you guys know, it has to do with the poem in Flanders Field that was written in World War I. And last year at the International Festival, the Canadian liaison officer, because the author was Canadian, gave this in a gift exchange to me, and it's a limited edition copy, and I'm going to give that to Caitlin, and if people want to look at it, they're sure more than welcome to, because it's one of my prized possessions as being the mayor. So you can imagine how excited I was to meet Clara, the youngest member there that knew the history of the poppies, and she had made poppies at her own expense to hand out to people. Thank you for my poppy. Okay, let me read this. Let's give her a round of applause. We're going to give her a few. She deserves a bunch. This mayoral citation is presented to Clara Yazzie, 2024-25 Comanche Indian Veteran Association Princess. On behalf of the citizens of the city of Lawton, I, Mayor Stan Booker, am pleased to confer upon you this mayoral citation in recognition of your dedication and craftsmanship in creating handmade poppy pins. Your commitment to honoring our fallen soldiers and preserving the Memorial Day poppy tradition has been invaluable in our community. Your exceptional talent as a seamstress, and we're going to see more of that, and heartfelt dedication to this cause inspire us all. By stepping forward, you ensure that an important tradition, which might otherwise be lost to your generation, continues to be remembered and cherished. The City of Lawton is proud to recognize you for your positive impact and commitment to honoring our heroes and rising to the highest level of some kind of wonderful. Let's give her a big round of applause. Okay, Clara, I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about how you got into this, okay?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Clara T. Yazzie. I am the CIVA 2024-2025 Princess. So the origin of the poppies came from a poem in Flanders Field, which in the poem, it represents the poppies represent the bloodshed of our fallen soldiers in the war. I personally thought that it would be great to make poppy pins because I feel like it's a tradition that needs to be remembered, and because I have lost an uncle during active duty. I would like to thank our mayor for giving me this opportunity to express myself and for recognizing all of my efforts. I really appreciate it. So as a token of my appreciation, I would like to give him a special handmade tie I made.
Wow, you made this? Handmade? You really are a seamstress, aren't you? All right, that's awesome. Look at that. Can you put it on me?
Yeah.
Make it real tight. Isn't that great? I like that. That is cool. Neat deal.
Okay, now we move on to audience participation. Anyone, wait a minute, reports by mayor and city council, almost forgot. Let's start down here with Ward 1.
Sorry, I don't have anything today.
Okay, Ward 2.
I was driving around today and saw our road crews, or actually our contractor, out sealing the cracks in the roads on Lee Boulevard. It's very exciting to see that getting done. So our roads will be protected from further damage.
All right, and Ward 3.
I noticed in the paper, let me back up. I know that we have been needing people to work in finance on a part-time element to help us through the budget and the auditing and everything. And I noticed there was an ad by the Great Plains Tech Center saying that they had finance people that they could put up for hire part-time. So maybe we could look into that in some way.
Okay, and Ward 4.
Good to see so many here today in the middle of the afternoon, looking how your city government's being run. Just a reminder that Mayor Booker's 10 Wins for the Citizens of Lawton is now just about finished. The first 10 roads are done. The second 15 are being completed as we speak. We'll be ready to start the second 15, still on schedule to get 40 to 50 wins for the citizens by the end of this year. Program's going really good. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, and so the mayor's report is I like my tie. Thank you, Cassie. Ward
Thank you, Mayor.
5.
I like his tie also. I'm jealous. Tie jealousy.
Thank you, you have good taste.
Yes, yes. Of course, the farmers market, you know, we had open street this Saturday. It turned out to be a fantastic event for the children and families. And while I was there, I walked over and got my coffee and noticed that they had fresh lettuce and vegetables, beets, and all kinds of delicious assortment of veggies. I picked me up some romaine lettuce. The salad was delicious. Make your way over there. I think they're going to be starting Food Truck Tuesday. Every Tuesday evening, there'll be food trucks out there if you want to go grab you something to eat. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Ward 6.
Thank you, Mayor. I had the opportunity to attend the Juneteenth held at City Hall this past weekend and had a wonderful time. One of the highlights of that moment was there was a little one that was maybe 2 years old, 3 years old, and I asked the mother, could she have a piece of watermelon? And I cut the piece of watermelon and gave it to her, and the look on her face made my weekend. She looked at that as, oh, this is good. And she just kept right on eating it. And so we just had a wonderful time.
All right, great. And Ward 7?
While I'm pulling that up, starting June the 18th through the 22nd, the 2024 Chautauqua will be at the Albert Johnson Senior Conference. And then also, I'm going to, the Juneteenth, I was sent this from a citizen, said that Juneteenth was the community's, was a success, and also the people of the Lawton community was grateful for the opportunity for Juneteenth to be held at the City Hall. And then it said the event didn't have any incidents and served over 500 people, and there were over 200 people during the opening program, which was right here which was in the banquet room. And just thank those that's participated.
Okay, thank you. And Colonel P., I believe this is your last meeting before you move off to Korea. We have enjoyed getting to know you, enjoyed your participation, and I think we'll all come to Korea and visit you soon. And so anyway, I think you have somebody to introduce. So I'm going to turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, just want to say thank you so much to the entire council and really to the entire city government and really the entire community of Lawton. Here, Lawton Sill is just such a wonderful place to be a part of. You truly look after one another. You truly look after all the service members and their family, and you make them all feel at home. I want to announce that, so this Friday, the 14th of June, is the Army's 249th birthday. There'll be a lot of celebration taking place on Fort Sill, and starting at about 8:30 in the morning. So prior to that, about 7 o'clock in the morning, 52nd Street Gate will be open to the public to come right in. Where it ends there at the Moway intersection and bleachers, there'll be a live fire demonstration that'll take place at 8:30 in the morning, and that is open to the public as we kick off the Army's 249th birthday. And then, Mr. Mayor, as you mentioned, I will have Colonel Derek Baird and myself will have our change of command on Thursday at 08 in the morning. So 2 days from now at 8 o'clock in the morning at the Old Post Quadrangle. And of course, that is, welcome to those members of the community who'd like to attend and all the council members. And what I would just ask is, please extend the same involvement and thanks and gratitude to Colonel Baird. He's going to do an amazing job. He's a fantastic artilleryman as well, and just like myself, unfortunately did not have the opportunity to serve here permanently throughout our career, but could not, I think just like myself and my family, could have not asked for a better time and a better place to be here with such a great community. And so with that, sir, just going to turn over to Derek to introduce himself.
Yes, sir, and the council and for Lawton writ large, thank you very much. Really excited for Thursday and the next couple years after that, working with the community and surrounding communities here. So thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
All right, let's appreciate Colonel P. and welcome Colonel Baird. All right, thank you guys so much. And now that brings up audience participation. Anyone having an item of business to present to the City Council that does not appear on the agenda, please come forward at this time. The Mayor and Council will receive comments from audience members. Council may recommend to the individual or group as to what action they should take. In essence, refer to situation in a particular department or a person at the city offices. Each speaker will have a 3-minute time limit. Each topic will have a 9-minute time limit, and audience participation will be limited to 30 minutes in total. Okay, and we've got quite a stack here, and so I'll just start going through. Sterling Bailey. Okay, and I've got Sterling down at 3413 Southwest Abilene Drive. Okay, Sterling.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mr. Watson had dropped off some information last city council meeting concerning my property for me to come in and set a meeting with the city manager, and I was just coming in to see, can I get that meeting with you? Or could that be fine on Friday? Well, you can just give me
Obviously,
a
he
day
doesn't have his calendar right here in front
Okay,
of him, but
that'd be fine.
You can step over and he can direct
Okay.
you to who can
All
take
right.
care of that.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming. Good to
Okay,
see
thank
you.
you now.
You still got your catfish trailer? Yes, sir. All right. Good catfish. Can I say that in the council meeting? Sure. Okay, it's good catfish. And Connie Wood. And Connie's at 6432 Northwest Arrowhead Drive. Connie?
Hi. I'm here today to discuss the U.S. Cellular tower pole that's been placed outside of my house. It's between...
Minute, is that on the agenda?
It's item 24.
Okay, and it's the same address? Oh,
Excuse me?
you know what? I'm sorry, ma'am. I wasn't supposed to call you up till we got to that item.
Oh,
So I do
okay.
apologize.
Well, I'll rewind and come back.
Okay. But we gave you some practice. All right. Now I have Tara Brown. Tara? Hi, Tara. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
Okay.
And Tara, what do you have to tell us?
Yes. Okay. I need to push a button, or can it? Oh, okay. Okay. I'm thankful for this opportunity to share. I'd love to share with you about the Randolph-Shepard Act, and it is a federal act that states that a blind person has priority to sell food in vending on federal, state, or county facilities. And right now, it's not really taking place here in Lawton, not in the city or the county. It was at one point, and some of you might remember Delbert. Delbert was an older blind person,
Absolutely.
and he was in the Comanche County Courthouse for years, 50+ years. Well, he was a part of the RSA, Randolph-Shepard Act. And just a lot of people don't know about it, and I'd love to tell you what it means to me. Half of my life, about 25 years ago, I was driving down the street and my retina detached. And I developed chronic glaucoma. And that glaucoma took my sight to nothing. Now I could stay at home, cry about it, but I still have bills that are due, like everyone else. So I chose to find means that I can continue my livelihood the way I had it and not choose Social Security. Now, there was an option. It's always an option for someone when they become blind. But as you read, you'll learn that there's other options. There's things you can do. You can get up. My arms and legs move fine. And I have a brain. So I would love for Lawton to consider the RSA and help me help you. I have a company, it's called Tasty Snacks, known as TTS Vending. I'm over town, we have vehicles over town, but we don't have very many locations. And I'm asking that you consider this act and allow me the opportunity to serve you in the federal, county, and city buildings. Also is buildings that receive federal funding or on federal land. So it's allowed me to raise my family, buy a house here in Lawton. I'm not from here, but I've been here over 20 years. And at the time, and I'm closing, at the time, Delbert told me, he said, Tara, just stick it out. Stick it out. There's some good people here in Lawton. And I know it's some good people in here in Lawton. And I'm asking you to please consider Randolph-Shepard. It's a federal act. It's a law. I'm just asking you to abide by it. Thank you.
All right, thank you for coming, and you can get with the city manager and he'll direct you on how to make application, okay? Thank you for coming. Okay, now we have Carrie Thomas, 6215 Northwest 36th. Yes, ma'am.
Hello. I'm going to talk about the West Wind Refinery. Causes of plant explosions, understanding the why behind plant and refinery disasters. With all of the chemicals prevalent in modern day life, it is an unfortunate truth that we are sometimes forced to pay the price. While many workplaces are at risk for explosions, workers at chemical and industrial plants are exposed to greater risks by the creation of gases, the buildup of heat, and the reaction. A chemical plant can become the source of serious and debilitating explosions. These can result in serious plant explosions, injuries such as third-degree burns, and even severe property damage that can affect the local community for years to come. The Texas City refinery explosion occurred on March the 23rd, 2005, when a flammable hydrocarbon vapor cloud ignited and violently exploded at the isomerization process unit of the BP oil refinery in Texas City, Texas, killing 15 workers, injuring 100 others, and severely damaging the refinery. A smelting furnace exploded Sunday at a Chinese-owned nickel plant on Indonesia's Sulawesi Island, killing at least 13 workers and injuring dozens of others, police and company officials said. It was the latest in a series of deadly incidents at nickel smelting plants in Indonesia that are part of China's ambitious transitional development program known as the Belt and Road Initiative. Nickel is a key component in global battery production for electronic vehicles. This happened in 2005, adding that about 2023, adding that about 46 workers were injured, including 14 Chinese nationals, some in critical condition. Nickel dust is combustible and is very explosive if not handled properly. You have to go to school to basically do that. So that's going to be something that y'all need to consider with your refinery. These people have to be educated, you know, in handling that stuff in there. And it's going to be these people out here and their families that it could explode.
Okay, thank you. And now Derek Coppage. Did I say it right? And Derek's at 26 Northwest 53rd. How are you?
I'm all right.
Good.
I need to talk about they didn't give us no parking over there. I get harassed every Monday morning by the city for not having no place to park. I got two sons. We had to park in it back in the street every morning. It's like Rogers Lane on 53rd now. So we need somewhere to park. I'm tired of getting harassed. The other people, I'd speak for everybody else, they didn't want to come. I said, well, I go speak because I'm one of the biggest. My next door neighbor he parked the truck and give me a blind spot so I can't see what's coming. So I had to look and see what's coming down the street and run and get in my car and back into the street fast. I got tired of doing that. And I had to park in the garage so we can all three of us park, me and my two sons can park there. So I need something like the end of the street by the fire station could have gave me some parking. They harass us every day. I had a neighbor move today, getting tired of getting harassed, so they moved out today right across the street. The city coming.
I'll tell you what we can do. There's not a lot the council can do about that, but the city manager can direct you to the people that can likely help you with
We need some parking. I ain't got nowhere to park.
Okay.
Had to back into the street every morning. It's like 60 miles an hour over there. People, they won't even give you courtesy to turn in your own driveway. I had to pass my house a bunch of times and go around the block just to beat somebody so I can get in my house. I'm tired of doing that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And city manager will help you. Preston DeWolf. Preston's at 3207 Southwest 67th. Okay, Preston, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. I live at 3207, right off 67th Street, where the city has just run the 12-inch main and gave us fire plugs to replace the water line on the 67th Street Water Works, or Water Association. And I appreciate that you guys have done that, because we've been on the small line for a while. When we first found out that we were going to get this line, I inquired, who's going to be able to get a service tap, and anybody that had purchased an agreement from Judge Nyworth for the addition, a right to tap, was going to get a service. And so, once everything started being installed, I've got 3203, 3205. They don't have a service tap, and anyway, so I go and I contacted Rusty and said, hey, why can't I get a tap? He said, well, only people that can do it is people that actually have the right through Judge Nyworth. I said, these are the actual contracts that I signed when I purchased the properties. Then when I came back, he said, well, we're only going to give people a service if they had a water meter. Well, I do have a water meter on one of the properties, but I told them, I said, you know, there's numerous people that got service taps that the one chose not to purchase an agreement through the waterworks and never even had a water meter. They've never paid.
Okay, Preston, we're kind of in a situation where we can't discuss back and forth. We can only direct you. I'm going to direct you to the city attorney.
Yes, sir.
If you'll get with the city attorney, you give him a phone number or something, and then you can get in touch with him and he'll get to the bottom of your situation, okay? And if you don't get resolution, give me a call. Thank you for coming. He'll get you a number right here. Okay, now Michael Washington.
Call me back to
Okay, Michael Washington, I'm not, does it say 100 Park Place? Is
Yes.
that Oklahoma City?
Yes, it is.
All right. Okay, Michael, what you got?
Thank you, sir. My wonderful, illustrious horseshoe guest. I'm here today in representation of the families who recently experienced the tragic deaths of their loved ones here in the Comanche County Detention Center. It was very disturbing to me to learn of these deaths, and especially to learn of a spike that began last year, with there actually being 2 more recently this year. Apparently there's a serious problem going on, and the families of this wonderful county, which I respect greatly, deserves transparency, and they deserve to know better of what's going on with their loved ones. Apparently someone in this jail, again, I can't say whom because I'm not aware of who that person and they may be, but I can say this. These families deserve better. You, as a people, deserve better as a city council. People are dependent upon you to make their cities safe, but at the same time, they want their loved ones safe too if they go into the jailhouse. That's to confine them. You can be on the street where all the tragedy and deaths and drugs and all this are going on, and yet die in a more condensed, more smaller place like a jailhouse. Really, there's something wrong with that picture. I'm here to say that I'm here with 3 wonderful families today who's experienced loved ones dying, children. This has to stop. And I'm telling you today, without your participation and your involvement, this wicked, transgressive, wild, outrageous thing is going to continue. And we cannot allow it to go on because your son or daughter could be next. So let's stop it now. Let's nip it in the bud. Now then, these wonderful people asked me to speak, and I'm here to speak. I'm here tonight with great pleasure and an honor to stand up for these wonderful people. And guess what? They deserve answers. They deserve not to be neglected, totally ignored, disregarded, disrespected, and disowned because they're citizens in this great, wonderful city once again. I've been here many times, and I love coming back. I'm going to continue to come back until I'm told I can't. Then again, I may still have a problem with that, but nevertheless. Let us be real here. We cannot allow the people in that county jail to be the judge, the jury, and lawyer at the same time. Why do we have courts then? There's a pocket of something going on here, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm going to go home by myself when I leave. So you can best believe ain't nobody scaring me. I love all of you as a human being, a child of God. And I just wouldn't be myself to be up here today without speaking for these wonderful people who otherwise don't have a voice. I speak for the voiceless. Because I one day am going to need someone to speak for me.
You have 15 seconds, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, for this. And again, y'all, let's take this thing seriously, and we're going to be back. And we're going to hope that you will take it to heart very seriously about what's going on. Before I leave, I have no hatred for this police agency. And you know what? I want to give a round of applause for the sergeant who went outside to call his duty to do that thing for that lady to fix her car. Thank y'all very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, and I will say this. So are you talking about the city jail or the county jail?
County jail, excuse me, that's what the county jail.
Okay, and we are the city. We do not govern the county jail. You're welcome to come and talk, but there's not anything this body can do about what's going on at the county.
Yes, sir.
I would recommend you visit with them. Now, you're welcome to come back and talk for your 3 minutes.
Thank you.
But the truth is, we can't do anything.
More than that, Your Honor, is that you have people who can inquire and be inquisitive about what's going on here. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, sir.
As a citizen. Thank you so much.
Okay, and that's all the requests we had to speak on audience participation. So we will move on to the consent agenda. The following items are to be considered routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on an item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda prior to action and considered separately. Council, do you have anything you want to pull from the consent agenda? I've not been given anything to pull. I have none. Okay, on the regular agenda, I'm striking item 31 and 32. And we'll deal with them at a future council meeting. And so can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda? Have a motion for approvals or a second? And a second, please vote. Let's see. Okay, motion carries 6-0. Oh, isn't that sweet? I'm assuming it was Ms. Hankins that did not vote. Is that correct? Okay. That brings up business item number 23. And before we get started, a little housekeeping. And that is, what time do you guys want to get out of here today? Okay, you're in control of the length of the meeting.
Can I help with that, Mayor? Legal has determined it is, we can strike the executive session today as well.
Ah, so we're looking
We
at
don't have any
legal
real
has
updates.
done their part.
So
we are striking the executive session.
Tim told me there's really no updates. We're going to meet on that in a couple weeks. So.
All right, all right. Okay, item 23, hold a public hearing to consider a request for use permitted on review to allow a private medical facility to be in a public facility zoning classification district, more particularly located at 4814 Northwest Floyd Avenue, Lawton, Oklahoma, 73505, and take appropriate action as deemed necessary. Cameron.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. We've received a application from Volunteers of America to locate a private medical facility at this proposed address of 4814 Northwest Floyd. This is going to be located between 48th Street and 49th Street and between Williams Avenue and Floyd Avenue. Here's an aerial of the existing facility. It used to be a school back in the day, and then it's been operated by a church ever since. Here's the proposed site plan for the facility. The existing building is to remain, and then adding additional parking on the north side with a potential second entrance onto Floyd Avenue. The existing zoning is PF, public facility, with R1 single-family dwelling to the north, south, west, and east. The current land use plan is public facility as well, with residential low density to the north, south, west, and east. Like I said, the proposed use is from Volunteers of America for a private medical and mental health treatment facility for women who are pregnant and or have children. This was sent to 85 property owners within 300 feet on May 20th and posted in the Lawton Constitution on May 26th. We received no phone calls or letters for or against this, and it was held a public hearing at the City Planning Commission on May 16th where they recommended for approval. We do have representation from Volunteers of America that has a presentation that they would also like to give.
And how long is that presentation?
Just a couple slides.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Christina Ehrman. I'm the Chief of Integrated Behavioral Health for Volunteers of America, Oklahoma. And we are excited to launch this new venture here in Lawton. And I just wanted to be available to answer any questions that anyone might have about our facility and how we will function in the community.
just want to make yourself available.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. Cameron, do you have anything else? Okay, council, before we start, do you have questions? And remember, this is not where you give your opinions. That comes after the public speaks. But do you have questions for Cameron or the individual? Okay, at this time, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on this item, please come forward at this time. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Council, do you have comments? Ms. Hankins. this
Mr.
is-
Mayor, I would move that we approve this request and read the title only.
Okay, hold on just a minute. Okay, so it's not an ordinance, so we have a motion for approval, and did I hear a second? We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. Bringing up item number 24. Consider revoking the small cell wireless facility revocable permit for the small cell wireless facility located at 6432 Northwest Arrowhead Drive and take action as necessary. Charlotte.
Good
We'll
afternoon.
be right with you, okay?
Yep. Donna Lynn, did you get the slides? Okay, so this is very similar to the one we heard at the May 28th council meeting on Micklegate. This one is located on Northwest Arrowhead Drive. It was permitted on June 27th of 2023 by City Council with a revocable permit, and it is U.S. Cellular. Ms. Wood has called several complaints, and she's requesting that the pole be relocated to a park that's approximately 2 blocks away from her property. I did reach out to U.S. Cellular for them to look into this facility as well. Their response was each location in Lawton was carefully selected based on the need to offload our existing network. Moving this site to either the Great Plains Park or Crosby Park would not be an option, as the parks are not near the concentration of users that we are targeting at this location. A move would not allow us to effectively offload the traffic from the existing cell sites in our network, and additionally, each location was selected based on the parameters of Article 20-5 Small Cell Wireless Facility Permit. So there was one issue between the approved plans and the location. It's about a foot west and a foot and 5 inches north of what was approved in the plans. To me, that's not a big deal, because you get out there ground level, maybe a little bit different. And then staff's recommendation on this one is not to revoke it.
Is that the same recommendation you had last time? Is this the same one we looked at?
No, this is a different one.
Oh, it's a different one.
Yes,
Okay.
a completely different one, yes.
All right, so staff recommendation is not to revoke. Do you have anything else before I let the citizens speak?
No.
Okay, Connie, you want to come on up and speak?
Connie Wood at 6432 Northwest Arrowhead Drive. I'm requesting for it to be revoked. 1, because it is out of regulation. 2, it is going to devalue my property, our property. And 3, it could be dangerous. It's extremely large and ugly. I did try to come up with a solution. There's the Great Plains Park I thought it was about a block away. Maybe technically it's 2 blocks, but it's very near. And to me, that would be a solution that would help everybody. The city would still be able to get what they get from U.S. Cellular. U.S. Cellular would still be able to boost their 5G network. And for us, it wouldn't devalue our property. We take a lot of pride in our home and try to do right things, encourage our neighbors to take care of their property. And so I'm requesting that this permit that is out of regulation be revoked. And I'm pretty sure that if U.S. Cellular can't put it there, if they put it a block and a half, 2 blocks over at the Great Plains Park, that they will still be able to boost their reception. So I'm asking for the council members. I spoke with Bob Weger about this, and he was in agreement with me and
said that he would vote to revoke
Okay, well,
it.
we'll see how he votes. Do you have anything else you want to tell us?
Just that I want it to be revoked and relocated somewhere.
Okay, council, do you have any questions?
Mayor, Council, I do. Charlotte, why are these being placed in front of people's homes? I would not want this in front of my house either. I don't understand why they're going. I know it's city property with the easements, but I don't understand why these posts are being built in front of these homes.
The reason that the code was written the way that it is where they cannot be located on any arterials, because when you go out, you don't have a lot of facilities. You don't have a lot of room in the arterials, in the right-of-way, or in the easements. That's why, we're doing road projects. We're having to go purchase additional right-of-way and easements to even just put water lines or sidewalks down. And when US Cellular came to us, the majority of them are in the neighborhood so that they can help boost that 5G throughout the city.
So this is right in front of a house? It's not on a side?
No, so it's on the front yard, but it's really close to the side property line. It's not directly in front of the house. It's really close to the side property line that shares.
Close to the property line?
Yes, that it shares with the adjacent house. So it's not directly in front of the house. It's as far over on the side of
There's
the
not
property.
a place around a corner where it could be on a side instead of in front of somebody's house?
Not that I've seen.
Okay. I think our city attorney had a question for the citizen. Come back up.
What is the, you said there's some regulations that it violated. Which regulations are you
Yes,
speaking
there
of?
was someone from the city, I believe Miss Charlotte Brown sent them, and they did measurements and said that it was not within regulation. So that was the first problem. The second problem is it's right there.
Well, I'm just worried about the regulation
Okay.
piece. Charlotte, can you kind of clarify what may be out of regulation?
So I know on the original one that we talked about at the last meeting, it was 3 feet off. And we had not received the insurance, which we have the insurance now. And I actually got clarification from US Cellular on the one on Micklegate that the property owner actually came out and asked them to move it because it was going to be right on top of their sprinkler line. So we did, that's a different one, yes. So, but this one is only a foot off from where it should be, and it's the composite pole that the code requires. So a foot off on something like this is really not.
So is that what you're saying is out of regulation?
Well, that's one thing.
Okay.
The main thing is,
Oh, yeah.
the main thing is that we don't understand why it's placed where it's placed, right by our house.
Okay. My question is just about the regulation piece,
Okay,
and that's
because
what
we
I wanted
wanted
to
to
clarify.
build a place to park our RV, and it's right there. And, we had been tagged to move our RV, and we moved our RV, and it was on the grass, and then we got told it couldn't be on the grass per city ordinances, so we had plans to build a parking spot there, but that's right by that US Cellular pole. And
Okay.
the last thing is, would any of the council members or you, Mayor, want to have one of these poles?
Okay, well, we don't have
put-
that kind of conversation back and
Okay,
forth. We're
okay,
here to
I'm new
listen
at
to your
this.
arguments, though.
Okay,
Now, Mr. Uyghur, do you have anything on this that you want to put in? No, sir. Okay. Yes, Mr. Hampton?
Thank you, Mayor. Just very quickly, Charlotte, these poles do seem like they kind of stick out and they don't really blend in. I know there's some ordinances that we put out as far as the aesthetics of neighborhoods, businesses and whatnot, where we require that these things blend in more.
So
Is there-
we did require them to harmonize with the existing utilities in the area. And actually in the pictures that you guys have on Legistar that I thought we had a PowerPoint on, but I guess we don't have it. It mirrors the street light and the power poles almost that are down the road.
Well, if they were brown or something, I think that, and these are quite a bit taller than the electrical poles?
No, so they can't be any higher than 50 feet. And actually, one of the things that we did press with US Cellular, that our recommendation would be that you go to PSO and reach out and co-locate with PSO, and then we wouldn't have the extra poles in the neighborhoods, but they were not able to work that out with PSO.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
So that was the question I was getting ready to come to is, it looks like 50 feet away, we already have a pole of some sort. So why are we not able to, who controls that negotiation with PSO?
That would be PSO, that if they own the poles, then they control what goes on them and what doesn't.
Do we not have some sort of control over utilities and easements and?
We do, and we've gone over, and all of these were reviewed by Public Utilities to make sure they weren't on top of sewer lines or water lines or any of the other utilities that we primarily look at and deal with, and they met all of those requirements. But unfortunately, I don't have a say-so with PSO.
Are you through, Mr. Harris?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
City Attorney.
My understanding, some of that background on why the electric company, there's been some kind of strife, I know, between with the installation of 5G and co-locating on poles, because they're not really sure if it's going to meddle with the service of electricity. Okay. I guess that's part of it. Some of the 5G deployment, there's been a lot of fights in the legislature that I've been a part of over the last 5-6 years, just trying to deploy these. And so I understand there have been a lot of issues with the attempt to deploy these, and cities have had to get involved in that fight too. But that's one of the reasons why we haven't seen a lot of co-location, a lot of pole agreements like this.
Okay. So the question I have, because we need small cell. These are going to keep coming. They're going to keep aggravating citizens. How are our peer cities dealing with this? Do they have some regulations that kind of ease the burden or make this work better? Or have we checked?
I have not checked that. I do know that when we first started looking at this, I know Norman has some regulations, but it's been a little while since I've looked. Our code highly mirrors the state statutes that were put in place in 2018.
Okay, so that's a minimum in this case. The state statute's a minimum.
Mayor,
yes.
I've got a comment about that. So I think one of the things that we'll start doing in the future is in the past, when council considers these revocable permits, it's on a piece of paper. So it's one thing to see the application and the site location of the tower on a piece of paper. It's another thing entirely when that tower is in front of your house. So I think staff has got to do a better job of showing exactly what council is considering on a given permit before it makes that decision. So Charlotte and I have had that discussion. We're going to start doing that moving forward. Unfortunately, that doesn't help Ms. Wood in the present situation, but that's certainly one thing that we can do to make sure that we don't keep having these issues coming up.
And so what's your recommendation on how to deal with this one?
It's a tough call. I mean, like you said, there's a demand and a need for the wireless capacity for the 5G network. Certainly understand Mrs. Wood's concern, because this pole is in front of her house. I mean, I wouldn't want that in front of my house, so I understand that. I just don't know how we can resolve these competing demands other than to move them to different locations, but we're getting pushback from US Cellular saying that they can't meet their network coverage if they do that. And I don't know whether that's truth or not. I just kind of have to take their word for it. So this is a tough one. I'm not sure.
Mr. Gill.
Mr. Mayor, a question for you, John, City Attorney. Do we have a legal problem here, since I assume we've already granted these permits to the cellular company to put this up?
but yet it's been put up. We can do away with that. What's our legal ramifications?
So I'd have to read exactly what the wording is on the revocable permit, but I believe revocable permit, are there any qualifications to revoking it?
With the small cell wireless facilities, we essentially left it pretty wide open
Okay.
that council could revoke for any cause.
Right. And I guess one of my questions, just to piggyback on something we discussed last time, have we heard anything with the T-Mobile purchase that might affect the installation of these as well?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, okay. Just checking.
Mr. Harris.
Yeah, just looking at a map of the area right behind her house, and there's a little apartment complex. It looks like there's probably a right-of-way grass strip that's pretty close to 67th Street as well. It would move this thing maybe 150 feet or something. It seems like that would be a reasonable. I wonder if we could ask U.S. Cellular if that would mess with their distribution plan.
I can reach out and ask that, definitely.
So I have no idea where the council's headed on this, but I would like to know if it's an option to give a stop work order and investigate some options before we revoke or approve.
Okay.
Revoke
Yeah.
or don't revoke, whatever. And I might suggest that's the way we go if somebody wants to make that motion or another.
I'll make that motion. It looks like from a map here, there's 17 of these things going in as of right now.
There's actually, we've permitted 26.
26 of them. So this is not going away. I make a motion to
issue a stop work order and investigate options.
To issue a stop work
including
order and investigate
checking with our
options.
peer cities.
And then take a look at what our peer cities are doing.
Do I have a second? We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. All right, thank you. Item number 25, consider approving an ordinance pertaining to utilities, amending section 2214-144, division 2214, article 22-1, chapter 22, Lawton City Code 2015 by amending the percentage of the landfill gate fee to be 3/5 to the landfill gate fee account, 1/5 to the wards, 1/5 to solid waste to fund the litter abatement operations near the landfill, providing for severability, establishing an effective date, and allowing for floor amendment. Charlotte.
Good afternoon again. Okay, so during a recent review of the code and discussion with the city manager, we were trying to find a funding source for the 2 additional neighborhood services officers that we're getting in the next fiscal year. The best source that was decided upon by staff was to utilize a portion of the utility funding that we received from the landfill gate fee. So the current code is 2/3 go to the litter abatement operations, and 1/3 goes to split individually into the ward accounts. The current landfill gate fee is $3.45 per load. The proposed split is 3/5 will go into the account to help fund the code enforcement officers. 1/5 will go into the ward accounts, and the last 5th will go to public works to help fund the litter abatement. So the new split, the current split is $2.30 to litter abatement and $1.15 to the wards. The new split will be $2.07 for the code enforcement officers, 69 cents for the wards, and 69 cents for the litter abatement operations. And the 2 new code enforcement officers, they will primarily be looking for that bulk out of compliance or the junk and debris at the curb. So.
Okay. All right. Council? Ms. Hankins?
Charlotte, did some of that used to go to Lita?
Yes, 2/3 of it, 2/3 of it used to go to Lita, and then we gave it back to the city several years ago.
Okay.
Oh, I think that was whenever they didn't want to do
The cleaning up
Yeah.
along the road?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yes.
So
Okay.
everyone would know what the issue is.
Yeah, LEDA just wanted to focus on beautification, so I think they made that change in 2019? It's been a little
Something
while.
like that, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Hampton?
Charlotte, do we have like numbers of this? Because it almost sounds like a floating amount that generally is there, maybe even monthly, right, for this amount of money?
Yeah, I don't have the exact numbers. Chris?
We know that landfill gate fees are roughly $150,000 a year. I think this would affect ward funds by roughly half is the amount. And, you know, routinely ward funds don't get used. So it's not, I don't think this will affect projects that council wants to do in their wards.
Yeah, I think those ward funds were actually set up to try to clean up the wards when there was no billing at the property, and thus it was difficult to pick up. Oh, that money was directly taken out of my ward account, or if the city manager at the time took it from somewhere else. But I think that problem does need to be addressed, especially in lines with all the D&Ds that we're doing, because I'm having people dump property trash on properties that have no water meter, and thus it just sits there, and the difficulty is finding how to get rid of it because there's no funds to take care of that. Can that be addressed? If money's going to be removed from that, and I use mine routinely, you know that, John. If that can be addressed, I think that was one of the main reasons, which is beautification, and which is a big problem.
Well, Mr. Hampton, the sole purpose for these two, or I shouldn't say the sole purpose, but the main purpose for these two code enforcement officers will be non-compliant bulk waste remediation. So they are going to be focused on that field. And so I think a more efficient use of that funds, you mentioned the need for the ward funds was to abate litter. I think a more efficient use is putting code enforcement officers out there that have this specialization that will get after it in a very systematic and calculated way.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, but the whole picture is, on the bottom line, I'm the one that gets called, or one of the council members, if it doesn't get taken care of. And at that point, we have to kind of begin to try to find some way to be enforcement officers ourselves to try to get that taken care of.
We don't charge council persons for those types of calls. We just go out and pick it up.
We don't pay them either, so. But I would like to address what we're going to do with that, with those properties. So once the enforcement officer finds the property that can't be dealt with, then will who's going to take care of removing that trash and debris?
The city, we will send out one of our contractors.
So we'll actually
Yes.
we'll actually take that off and then put a lien on the property then?
If it's on the property, we'll do the 10-day notice as required, and we'll put the lien on the property. If it's
Right.
at the curb on the right-of-way, we will just send a contractor out to abate it.
Okay. I realize, council, that some of you don't have to deal with that, but that is something I deal with all the time. And it becomes very frustrating, not just for me, but for also my constituents. I appreciate your time.
So I really, I appreciate you saying that, and I do know you have to deal with that, but I think the city manager says he's going to cover it. And I do think our additional code enforcement officers, you're going to reap benefits from that as well. I'd appreciate the council giving this a try, because I think it'll work. And I'd appreciate a motion for approval, waive the reading of the ordinance and read the title only. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Discussion or debate? Please read the title.
Oh, sorry. I was pulling it back up. My fault. Turn my mic on. An ordinance pertaining to utilities amending section 22-1-4-144. Hold on. Let me make sure I got the right one. Which one are we on? 25.
One is 22-1-4.
Mine crashed and I had to pull it back up. That's my fault. 25. Yeah, my whole thing crashed. Okay. That's it. Okay. Sorry about that. My whole agenda crashed. I had to load it back up. An ordinance pertaining to utilities, amending section 22-1-4-144, division 22-1-4, article 22-1, chapter 22, Lawton City Code 2015, by amending the percentage of the landfill gate fee to be 3/5 to the landfill gate fee account, 1/5 to the wards, and 1/5 to solid waste to fund the litter abatement operations near the landfill, providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Please vote. Motion carries 6-1. Bringing up item 26, consider approving an ordinance pertaining to buildings, construction, and housing by amending section 611-113, division 611, article 61, chapter 6, Lawton City Code 2015, by removing the permit types of multifamily dwellings and institutional assembly permit types, adding language to allow for a fee to be charged to the applicants that utilize a third-party plan review, providing for severability, establishing an effective date, and allowing for floor amendments. Charlotte.
Good afternoon again. So we were with the Council Policy 6-1, the open for business. We've been taking a look back at our Chapter 6, which is our building permit codes. And one of the items that we really felt like would make things much easier on citizens and staff is to remove the language where it talks about multifamily dwellings containing more than 2 units or apartments or hotels, and the institutional assembly food and or drink consumption from the permit type. So we're gonna have residential, commercial, and other. And the others are fences, demolitions, swimming pools, anything that doesn't fit within the residential and the commercial. So the fees will be easier to understand and easier for us to calculate and the new system to calculate. And we also add a section in there about if the citizen wants to use a third-party plan reviewer or if the city determines that a third-party plan reviewer is needed, it sets that allowance to do that. And in the accompanying resolution, it will set a fee for that.
Okay, council, you have questions? Yes, Mr. Harris.
What does a third-party plan reviewer do?
So we have a contract right now with Garver, and if we need, like we were overwhelmed with new houses last year and solar panels, we just send those to them. They do our review for us while we can focus on some of the other stuff, and then they send everything back to us, and then we send it out to the citizens.
And then we're going to pass that fee along to the citizen? Or
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Have a motion for approval? Have a motion for approval, waive the reading of the ordinance and read the title only. Is there a second? Second. We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please read the title.
One question.
Oh, we got a question.
Okay, when we do this, of course, we'll have already zoning on these partials. It's not going to change the process there of letting people know what's going on.
No.
So
No, this will just be for the building
It's
permit.
just a simplification is what it sounds like. But
Yes.
at the same time, if they're going to build multifamily on a particular piece of property that is zoned for that, they'll still be notified.
Yes, that doesn't have anything to do with that. This is just the building permit fees. The fees for the multifamily are really odd, and they break it down to bedrooms, kitchen, common area, and you don't get a lot of that information sometimes. So we're just trying to simplify it for the citizens.
Please read the title.
An ordinance pertaining to buildings, construction, and housing by amending section 6-1-1-113, division 6-1-1, article 6-1, chapter 6, Lawton City Code 2015, by removing the permit types of multifamily dwellings and institutional assembly permit types, adding language to allow for a fee to be charged to applicants that utilize the third-party plan review, providing for severability, and establishing an effective date.
Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. Bringing up item 27, consider approving an ordinance pertaining to buildings, construction, and housing by creating section 611-107.3, 611-107.4, division 611, article 6, chapter 6, Lawton City Code 2015, by adding language for contractors to call an emergency and photographic inspections, establishing a fee for said inspections, providing for severability, providing for codification, establishing an effective date, and allowing for floor amendments. Charlotte.
I promise I'm almost done. We're almost done. So this is the code that we discussed a few weeks ago when we gave our report. This is the code that will put into place the emergency inspections, along with the fee for those, and also allow for photographic inspections by certain contractors.
So are you ready to implement that?
Yes.
Or you are? Look at you. Okay. Discussion?
Discussion out here.
Yes.
This is something we've talked about in the past, which really should speed up inspections and allow for all those people that have to wait a day or two to get them. And I just want to ensure before we vote on this that it's not just an emergency only. It's also if it's deemed that that builder has to have an inspection, he has the availability, and it is legal for him to go ahead and make pictures and send them in right then and there so that we can get those things done and continue and not hold up construction.
Correct,
That sounds like a motion for approval.
It does.
Waive the reading of the ordinance and read the title only, was it?
Absolutely correct.
Do we have a second? We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please read the title.
An ordinance pertaining to buildings, construction, and housing, creating section 6-1-1-107.3 and 6-1-1-107.4, division 6-1-1, article 6-1, chapter 6, Lawton City Code 2015, by adding language for contractors to call in emergency and photographic inspections and establishing a fee for said inspections, providing for severability, providing for codification, and establishing an effective date.
Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. Bringing up item 28. By the way, we're working on a record here, council, and it must be my new council control club. Okay, so item 28, consider approving a resolution amending Appendix A, Schedule of Fees and Charges, Lawton City Code 2015, pertaining to Chapter 6 Buildings, Construction, and Housing by amending Article A61 Building Code, Charlotte.
Okay, so this is the resolution that goes along with the two previous ordinances. So this resolution sets a third-party plan review fee of $100 and also removes the fees that we just talked about for the multifamily dwellings and the institutional and food assembly permits. So those fees will go away, and it also sets a $200 fee for the emergency inspections.
Do I have a motion for approval or discussion?
Discussion.
Question.
I want to make a quick comment, keep it in line here. You make me forget my place. Motion to approve.
Have a motion for approval. Is there a second? We do have a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote.
I was going to say something real good.
And it was the same result the way we did it. 7-0. Motion carries. Bringing up item 29. I'll give you 1 second to come up with what you were going to say before I move on.
I have it. I just wanted to make a comment that this gives the builder the opportunity, if he's in a really big hurry, to go to a third party and get it done. We still are going to be held to our commitment in the city of getting these plans out in a certain period of time. So there are those occasions when the builder has to have it. We're giving them that. That's good.
Bringing up item 29, thank you. Consider approving an ordinance pertaining to building, construction, and housing by amending section 671-704, division 671, article 67, chapter 6, Lawton City Code 2015, by amending the duties of the Building Development Appeals Board to include variances to construction of boathouses and appeals for contractors that have been removed from emergency and/or photographic inspection process, providing for severability, establishing an effective date, and allowing for floor amendments. Charlotte.
This is the last one for me, I promise. So this is, so part of this is something that goes along with the emergency inspections and the photographic inspections. If a contractor has been removed from the ability to do that, they have the ability to appeal through the Building Development Appeals Board. And then also visiting with Dwayne, we were discussing variances for boathouses, for the construction of boathouses, and we felt this board would be the proper one to send those through. So we've just added that language.
As opposed to?
CPC or be it Board of Adjustments or anything like that.
Okay. Dwayne, you have something you want to say?
Briefly.
So specifically the part about the boathouses, obviously we have a section of code that governs size and what you can do with the boathouses. On occasion, there are instances where the owners are wanting to do something special to a boathouse that's outside of the code. This gives them an opportunity to make application, take it before the board. They get to make a recommendation, and ultimately that recommendation will come to the council for final decision.
Questions or motions?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the ordinance, waive the reading, and just read the title.
Do we have a second? I heard second. Who made that? Okay. And discussion or debate? Please read the title.
An ordinance pertaining to building, construction, and housing, amending Section 6-7-1-704, Division 6-7-1, Article 6-7, Chapter 6, Lawton City Code 2015, by amending the duties of the Building Development Appeals Board to include variances to construction of boathouses and appeals for contractors that have been removed from emergency and/or photographic inspection process, providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Please vote. Motion carries 7-0, bringing up item 30.
Thank you.
You're this one in yours? Okay. Consider approving a resolution amending Appendix A, Chapter A19, Article A19-5, Schedule of Fees and Charges, Lawton City Code 2015, by adding an administrative fee of $1,000 for variance requests pertaining to the construction of boathouses, realigning the numbering of said section, allowing for any floor amendments, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute the resolution. Dwayne.
So I'll be happy to let Charlotte cover this. She did so well. Essentially, this is a resolution that basically inserts a fee for those owners that want to submit a request for a variance. It's not an automatic, obviously, and we really don't want to see just everything, under the sun coming, as a variance request. So the fee associated with this request is meant to be enough that it deters frivolous or maybe not so important variance types of requests. If it's important enough for them that they're willing to submit that, then it's important enough to take to the board and to the council. We don't want to waste your time, so our point was to make it that way.
Mr. Gill.
I might make a suggestion on this. It's a pretty high fee. So why don't we think about if we're going to charge $1,000 to request this variance, if the variance is given, then that money is refunded.
That is a council call, and it is available
that would be my thoughts on it.
If it's approved, if the variance is given, we would refund it.
Right.
Instead of if.
Well, right now, it's $1,000 whether it's approved or not, and that's to keep the demand down to a small size. But if it's a good variance request, it should be granted, and if it's granted, they shouldn't be penalized for it. So my thought is that we charge $1,000 to file that variance, and then if it's not approved, $1,000 is not returned. But if it is approved, that means it was a good variance, and those people shouldn't be penalized. They can have that money back.
But they should pay the costs associated with it. I mean,
With the process.
and maybe that's not $1,000, but it costs something to go through this process.
And that's what I was going to say. I think if you really look at the number of hours put into it, the board time, bringing it to council, $1,000 probably doesn't touch
Then I'll
the
change
cost
my
of the
thought pattern
administrative
to
process.
500 refunded.
Okay. All right. Did the city manager have something to say?
No, I just agree with what the assistant city manager said, which is and you, Mayor, that this process takes staff time and money to process variances. These are kind of boathouses to begin with are kind of luxury items, so I don't have an issue with that fee being assessed.
Coming from a man that owns them.
That's right.
Yep. Okay. We just need a motion. Motion. What's your motion? Nobody's got a motion?
Getting there. Yeah, so I'll make a motion to approve the resolution amending Appendix A, Chapter A19.
Okay, we have a motion for approval. Do we have a second? We have a second. Discussion or debate? Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. Folks, we are moving on, and the next two items were struck, and we're on item 33, provide City Council with an update on the FY 2023 audit process. Krista.
Good afternoon. So capital assets are completely reconciled for fiscal year 23. We have moved on to 24 on those. I've been updating you on our grant schedule. That accountant was out today. She had a family emergency, so we will have an update on that portion of the audit at the next meeting. My cash accountant is currently reconciling June 2023 cash. Last time I spoke to y'all, she was in May. For the pension audit, we provided about a third of the documents to them so far. The remaining documents we're either waiting on cash to be reconciled. We also have to coordinate with payroll. A lot of the documents they need come from them. And then clarification from the auditors on a few requests that were new, and just wanting to make sure we give them the right things. We will be going out for bids on accounting services starting Thursday. Those bids will close on July 31st, and we'll be utilizing the electronic bid option this time. Any questions?
The 2022 audit, what is the status?
It is complete. We received the single audit last week, and the auditors will be filing that with the state, they told me this week.
2022 will be filed this week.
That is what she told me, yes.
Who's responsible for that?
Four of us, our auditors.
Okay. And what is our target date currently on the 23 audit?
We are hoping to get the trial balance to our auditors by August. And that would give them, it usually takes 4 to 5 months for them to work through that from there.
Okay, I think Ms. Chapman, did you have a question? I thought you, okay, remember we talked about hiring additional help? Go ahead. Did I put you on the spot? I'm sorry.
Well, I said that during our mayor council talks. Yes, I did. You were not listening?
No, probably wasn't.
But
I appreciate you covering that.
We might check at
Can
the
you
Great
tell us
Plains,
what you said?
At the Great, I have to remember now. The Great Plains Career Center, that there was an ad and it was talking about financial training, and that they would be available, some of them, for part-time work. I don't know what that means at all, because I'm not a money person like you all, but maybe it's something to look into.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
students.
Councilwoman Chapman, just for your information, we had a spec meeting last week to issue an RFP for this exact help, but we can certainly consider that as well. So we're moving forward, but that's always good. I mean, if we can pull locally, that's ideal.
And what's the time limit on that RFP? Is it due in 30 days or what?
bids will close July 31st.
Pardon me?
We'll open bids on July 31st.
Okay. All right, any other questions or comments on the audit? All right. Since executive session has been struck, I would entertain
Mr. Mayor,
a motion for adjournment.
I so move.
With movement and a second, discussion or debate? Everybody's ready, let's vote.
Chapman? Yes. Gill?
Yes.
Hampton?
Yes.
Uyghur? Yes. Williams?
Yes.
Hankins? Yes. Harris?
We stand adjourned.
Would John say